So, the year is 1957. Toyota starts selling cars in the US. At age 13, Bobby Fischer becomes a chess champion. Humphrey Bogart dies. USSR launches Sputnik 1, first man-made Earth satellite. Frisbees are released and become widely popular. And in jazz, many great things happened in 1957. Here are some of the best albums released that year. Sony Rollins' Saxophone Colossus, an innovative hard bop album at a time when most still played cool jazz. The genius of Sony Rollins' improvisation through new saxophone techniques. Tracks composed by Rollins himself are two of the best in my view, St. Thomas and Blue 7. Rollins is joined by great crew, Tommy Flanagan, Doug Watkins and Max Roach. The same year, Sony released Way Out West, another excellent outing accompanied by Ray Brown on bass and Shelly Manne on drums. This was first album when Sony Rollins used his new strolling technique, later adopted by Ornette Coleman as well. Miles Davis' Birth of the Cool is considered a birth of cool jazz. It was one of the defining moments in jazz history. Recorded by Nonette, yes, 9 musicians created this inventive music, where the longest track is 3 minutes 20 seconds. So precise and to the point. Miles Davis was so talented and creative that he single-handedly revolutionized several jazz styles. Check out also 2 more albums by Miles Davis released in 1957, Berg's Groove and Roundabout Midnight. But we need to devote special time to even 4th album by Miles Davis in 1957, called Miles Ahead. A majestic concept album in collaboration with Gil Evans and his 19-piece orchestra. Using traditional classical compositions as a bedrock, Miles manages to create something new again. And if you are in for some jaw-dropping trumpet solos, this album won't disappoint you. Thelonious Monk, Brilliant Corners. At the time of its release, didn't reach wider audience due to complexity and advanced composing style. The music certainly requires more than a few listens to be fully appreciated, but the genius of Thelonious Monk, who went head-on against conventional style, became praised later. Today we consider Brilliant Corners as one of the albums that defined modern jazz and as an important evolutionary step in jazz history. Charles Mingus, The Clown. Proving several of his previous amazing albums were not just a coincidence. Charles Mingus hit it again in 1957 with the masterpiece, The Clown. The music is fierce and bursting with energy. Straight from the start, opening track, Haitian fight song, shows what the whole album will be about. Wide dynamics-driven themes where Mingus gives much freedom to other players as well. As a result, there are great solos, memorable call and response parts, and altogether music that sounds live, fresh and inspiring for musicians and listeners. Every time I listen to one of his albums, I feel privileged to be able to listen to such a composing genius as Mingus was. Hank Mobley and his album Hank Mobley Quintet. You will not find this album on most best of the lists, but to me it is such a fine piece of music that maybe even better than any previously mentioned album reflects the spirit of the era of jazz in 1957. Hank Mobley was a great hard bop tenorist that never achieved the fame of his contemporaries like John Coltrane, Stan Getz or Sonny Rollins, mostly because he was not such innovator as they were, but nobody can deny the skill with which he pronounced subtleties and carefully crafted rhythmic patterns. On this album, superb quintet with Art Farmer on trumpet, Horace Silver on piano, Doug Watkins on bass and always explosive Art Blakey on drums, plays from heart and music is engaging and full of great interplay. One of my favorites from 1957. Same case as just mentioned album Hank Mobley Quintet, another gem from 1957. The album called Art Pepper meets the rhythm section. In which great saxophonist Art Pepper meets Red Garland on piano, Paul Chambers on bass and Philly Joel Jones on drums. And he really met them for the first time the morning he entered the studio, after not been playing his saxophone for quite some time. And that very moment when he entered that studio, they told him that he is going to record with these amazing musicians for the first time in his life. The legend, the story surrounding the recording is, as you can see, just as extraordinary, as entertaining as the music itself. Every single track of this album is such a melodic and rhythmic delight. To pull off such a great sounding album in such circumstances is, of course, all 5 musicians' contribution. Of course, there are many other great albums from 1957. These are some of the best, but certainly not all. There is Bass on Top by Paul Chambers, and self-titled Coltrane by John Coltrane, and Beck's Groove by Miles Davis, and Gets Mills Mulligan, and The Hawk Flies High by Coleman Hawkins, and Body and Soul by Billie Holiday, and Anita Sings the Most by Anita O'Day, and Soulville by Ben Webster, and so on. Have a great listen to any of these amazing albums, and thank you for watching.